Spending 3 times as much as China just to maintain its military dominance, the United States is operating a $916 billion war machine. But that power isn't sustained by missiles, aircraft carriers, or fighter jets alone. Behind it is a massive logistics network that quietly keeps millions of service members fed. From military dining facilities serving millions of meals every day to field rations designed to remain shelf-stable for years. So how does the U.S. military feed millions of service members across the globe? Join Terran Works as we explore it in today's video. Can you believe it? This serving of beef stew was produced 1,095 days ago, exactly 3 years. Yet today it is still hot, flavorful, and completely safe to eat without refrigeration. It's not magic, but the technology behind MREs, meals ready to eat, the field rations used by the U.S. military during missions where conventional kitchens are unavailable. But creating a compact, safe meal that can last for years is the result of a journey that has taken the U.S. military centuries to develop. During the Civil War, soldiers' rations consisted mainly of salted pork or beef, cornmeal, and hardtack, a hard biscuit made from flour, water, and salt. These foods were easy to transport and had a long shelf life, but they were often monotonous, extremely hard, and could spoil or become infested with insects after extended periods on the battlefield. By World War II, the military had begun developing standardized packaged rations. C rations used canned foods to sustain soldiers for long periods in combat zones, while K rations were smaller and lighter, designed for units that needed to move quickly. In the early 1980s, MREs began replacing older canned rations. Each package was designed as a complete individual meal that could be eaten at room temperature or heated using a flameless ration heater. Inside, there was not only a main dish, but also bread, beverages, snacks, condiments, and essential accessories. Today, MREs are only one part of the U.S. military's vast food supply system. At military bases and academies, industrial dining facilities can prepare 10,000 to 13,000 meals per day. In training areas, mobile field kitchens provide thousands of hot meals, while aboard aircraft carriers, galleys operate around the clock to feed approximately 5,000 sailors. From a few pieces of hard bread carried in a soldier's pocket to meals that can last for years, military rations have evolved into a modern logistics network where nutrition, speed, and precision all have a direct impact on combat readiness. In the U.S. military, a meal doesn't begin when the kitchen fires up. It begins with a plan made weeks in advance. Kitchen staff use troop numbers, training schedules, and the number of meals served each day to calculate exactly how much food is needed. At academies with more than 4,000 cadets, dining facilities may have to provide 10,000 to 13,000 meals every day. Even a small forecasting error can result in hundreds of missing portions or a massive amount of food waste. Menus are carefully designed to provide enough carbohydrates, protein, vegetables, and fruit. Rice, pasta, bread, and potatoes provide energy. Beef, chicken, fish, and eggs support muscle recovery, while vegetables and fruit supply essential vitamins and minerals. Salt, sugar, and fat levels are also controlled so meals don't feel too heavy before intense training sessions. On Navy ships, menus may be planned on 14 or 21-day cycles, while also accounting for food allergies and religious dietary requirements. The amount of raw ingredients required is enormous. At Slagle Mess Hall in Texas, a single lunch for around 4,500 cadets requires nearly 600 pounds of beef, 1 to 1,400 pounds of chicken, and 450 pounds of peas, carrots, and cabbage. The dessert station alone has to cut more than 2,000 pieces of cake. In 2022, the dining facility served approximately 2.1 million meals and spent around $14.2 million on food. Because demand is so high, many orders have to be placed 4 to 6 weeks in advance. When the supplies arrive, they are inspected, sorted, and immediately transferred to storage. Slagle has approximately 10,000 cubic feet of refrigerated storage space, typically holding inventory worth around $200,000. Once the ingredients are ready, the military kitchen shifts into a rhythm resembling a massive industrial production line. Lunch preparation begins at 8 p.m. the night before. The overnight shift partially browns the beef, arranges chicken on trays, boils pasta, and prepares the vegetables. By 6 a.m. the next morning, the day shift takes over, slicing meat, seasoning ingredients, cooking everything, and portioning the food into trays. The scale of production makes ordinary kitchen equipment impractical. Chefs use 60 to 100-gallon steam kettles, industrial tilting skillets, and multi-level convection ovens. The marinara sauce for the tortellini, for example, is cooked in a 60-gallon kettle, using around 114 pounds of base sauce, along with vegetable oil and seasonings. In another section, more than 450 pounds of peas, carrots, and cabbage are boiled in tilting skillets before being transferred to trays. The food is not cooked in a single batch. Chefs divide the process into multiple production runs, so fresh food can continuously reach the serving line, preventing the first portions from becoming cold while the final batches are still cooking. After roasting, the chicken is coated with sauce and placed in heated holding cabinets, maintained at safe temperatures. The beef is sliced into hundreds of portions and returned to the ovens to complete the cooking process. Vegetables, pasta, and main dishes are kept separately until they are assembled into individual meal trays. When the dining hall doors open, thousands of cadets begin filing in by unit. From this moment on, everything is measured in minutes. Both floors of the dining facility operate simultaneously, with each floor able to accommodate around 1,100 people at a time, while continuously rotating seating to serve the entire population. Each cadet typically has only 15 to 20 minutes to eat. Those at the front of the line get a little more time, while those at the back have to eat faster before regrouping outside and returning to class or the training grounds. At the U.S. Naval Academy, the pace can be even more intense, with more than 4,400 people receiving their meals in less than 5 minutes, equivalent to nearly 900 meals per minute. Among the thousands of service members are people with food allergies, those who need to control their portions, and those who follow religious dietary requirements. The challenge is making sure these special meals move at the same pace as the rest of the dining operation. Staff must identify ingredients, guide personnel toward the correct options, and prevent anyone from accidentally receiving food that is unsuitable for them. Even a small mistake could trigger an allergic reaction, force a service member to skip a meal, or disrupt the training schedule. Away from fixed dining facilities, feeding troops becomes far more challenging when soldiers enter field exercises or operate in the middle of the ocean. In remote areas far from a base, the military uses mobile field kitchens that can be assembled into a complete cooking system. A modern kitchen can prepare around 2,400 meals per day, enough to feed nearly 800 service members. When troop numbers increase, multiple kitchen units can be connected and operated together. Conditions inside these mobile kitchens can be extremely harsh. Burners can reach 52,000 BTU, pushing indoor temperatures above 120 degrees Fahrenheit, nearly 49 degrees Celsius, while temperatures outside may be around 38 degrees Celsius. During major exercises, cooks may start working as early as 2 a.m. and continue until after 9 p.m. With limited refrigeration and unreliable water supplies, ingredients are mainly dry goods, canned foods, or frozen products. Soldiers typically receive 2 hot meals, in the early morning and evening, while lunch consists of pre-packaged rations. During periods of intense physical activity, energy requirements can reach 6,000 calories per person per day. On warships, the challenge shifts to limited space and long distances from supply points. An aircraft carrier can accommodate around 5,000 people, requiring its galley to prepare as many as 17,000 meals per day, including midnight meals for sailors working overnight shifts. Because missions continue around the clock, shipboard kitchens must operate 24 hours a day, ensuring that no watch section goes without a meal. Behind the production lines, serving thousands of meals, military cooks undergo training that is far more rigorous than that of a typical commercial kitchen. The initial phase focuses on theory, covering food hygiene, temperature control, ingredient storage, cross-contamination prevention, and food poisoning risks when preparing meals on a massive scale. This phase ends with a test of around 50 questions, because even a small mistake could affect the health of an entire unit. After the theoretical training, recruits move on to practical skills. They must become proficient in using knives, portioning meals, operating ovens, steam kettles, tilting skillets, and a wide range of other industrial kitchen equipment. Techniques such as roasting, sautéing, braising, and stewing must all be performed under strict time constraints. Next, they are assigned to an operational kitchen where they work continuously for 5 days. The most challenging stage takes place in a field kitchen. Trainees must set up the equipment themselves, prepare ingredients, and cook under conditions where electricity, clean water, or reliable refrigeration may be limited. Even when circumstances change, meals must still reach service members on time and meet strict safety standards. After hours of marching, training, or standing watch, a hot meal does more than help service members recover physically. It also creates a rare moment when they can step away from the pressures of their duties, sit down with their fellow service members, and recharge before returning to work. That's why military menus aren't always made up of dishes calculated purely around calories and nutrition. Certain familiar foods are served as weekly highlights. At the U.S. Naval Academy, buffalo chicken became so popular that it is served as a Friday tradition. The dish isn't particularly elaborate, but its regular appearance helps break up the monotony of days governed by rigid training schedules. On warships, where thousands of sailors may be away from home for extended periods, the galley also prepares special menus for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Turkey, desserts, and holiday-themed decorations create a sense of familiarity in the middle of the ocean. Sailors working overnight shifts also receive a mid-rats meal around midnight, ensuring that those on watch still get a proper meal. When the last service member leaves the dining hall, used trays, bowls, and plates are collected in separate containers and transferred to the cleaning area. Tables and chairs are wiped down, the dining area is reset, and food stations are prepared for the next shift. Once lunch is over, staff have only about 4 hours before dinner service begins. Unused food is handled according to its condition. On warships, some leftover food from previous meals can be combined with newly prepared dishes to create midrats, a midnight meal for sailors working overnight shifts. However, with thousands of people eating every day, the amount of food waste can still be enormous, especially aboard aircraft carriers where storage space is limited. In the past, much of the food waste on some ships was discharged into the ocean. In recent years, many vessels have been equipped with waste processing and composting systems designed to reduce the amount of material released directly into the environment. Food scraps and food-contaminated paper products are fed into grinders. These machines use cutting blades and water to break the waste down into a fine slurry, significantly reducing its volume before storage or further processing. On many U.S. Navy ships, bags, bottles, and plastic packaging are shredded, softened with heat, and compressed into dense discs weighing around 50 pounds. These are stored aboard the ship until they can be transported back to port for recycling or shore-based disposal. Metal and glass are crushed to save space, while certain combustible materials may be sent to specialized incinerators. The entire process allows a ship carrying thousands of people to manage the enormous amount of waste generated every day, without turning the ocean into a dumping ground. From dining halls serving thousands of cadets, to field kitchens operating in the middle of training grounds, to around-the-clock galleys aboard aircraft carriers, every stage is built around one goal: delivering safe food to the right person in the right place at the right time. What about you? Would you ever like to experience a meal in the military for yourself? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep following Terran Works as we explore the advanced production and logistics systems that are changing the world. To produce the reheated meal trays you just saw, we are not talking about an ordinary kitchen. This is a steel city of food, operating 24 hours a day, right next to Dubai International Airport. On average, Emirates Flight Catering produces about 225,000 meals every day, serving more than 100 airlines and hundreds of flights. To maintain that scale, more than 10,000 employees, including chefs from 69 countries, work continuously according to the airport's takeoff and landing schedule. Every day, around 30 tons of meat and vegetables pass through the facility, not including bread, eggs, milk, fruit, spices, and thousands of ingredients unique to different cuisines. However, the most important technology appears immediately after the food has just been cooked. Instead of being left to cool naturally, tens of thousands of hot meals are placed into rapid cooling chambers. Powerful streams of cold air remove heat from the food, limiting bacterial growth and preventing the dishes from continuing to cook unintentionally. Based on the type of dish, its weight, and the cooling rate, the system can automatically adjust the fan intensity and cooling cycle. Once the food reaches a safe temperature, the machine automatically switches to cold holding mode while recording all time and temperature data for food safety traceability. After passengers leave the cabin, the ground service team quickly approaches the aircraft to collect all the meal carts. Everything is unloaded using specialized high-lift trucks and transported back to Emirates Flight Catering. The carts are opened and every item begins to be sorted. Leftover food, single-use packaging, and waste are separated from items that can be cleaned and reused. Plates, cups, trays, and cutlery are also sorted by material and size before being sent to the appropriate washing lines. During this process, staff also inspect items that are cracked, deformed, or no longer meet service standards. These are removed from the production line, while the undamaged equipment continues to the cleaning process. According to data recorded by Emirates Flight Catering, this facility can process about 3 million food service items every day, including plates, bowls, cups, cutlery, trays, and many types of food containers. First, any remaining food is removed to prevent the production line from becoming clogged. The items are then sorted by shape, size, and material. From there, the items pass through large industrial washing machines. The water, temperature, and cleaning cycle are carefully controlled to remove grease, food residue, and any remaining dirt. After washing and sanitizing, the items are dried and transferred to the inspection area. Even the metal carts, used to serve passengers in the cabin, must be cleaned. Every compartment is opened, the waste is removed from inside, and the cart surfaces are cleaned before the wheels, handles, door locks, and mechanical components are inspected. After being cleaned and inspected, the carts are loaded onto an automated monorail system that runs throughout the building. This rail network has a total length of about 2.55 kilometers. Along the route are multiple pickup and drop-off points for carts in different areas of the facility. This allows clean carts to be transported from the ground floor to the food preparation area, the tray assembly area, or staging points without blocking employee walkways. At each level, staff can receive clean carts to begin loading meal trays or transfer fully loaded carts to the next stage. The first stop is the cold kitchen, which specializes in preparing dishes that do not require cooking or reheating before being served, such as sandwiches, salads, fruit, cheese, and appetizers. Here, the ingredients are washed, prepared, and portioned according to the menu for each flight. Vegetables are cut to standard sizes, fruit is selected to remove any bruised pieces, while cold cuts, cheese, and sandwich fillings are weighed according to specified portions. The meals are also prepared according to each cabin class. For economy class, the biggest challenge is volume. Thousands of sandwiches, salads, and fruit portions must be prepared quickly, consistently, and sized to fit the small meal tray on the aircraft. For business class, the quantity is smaller, but the presentation is more elaborate. Salads and appetizers use a wider variety of ingredients, and part of the final presentation is completed by the cabin crew during service. Meanwhile, first-class meals use more premium ingredients, are arranged according to 5-star restaurant standards, and are served with dedicated tableware. Emirates states that first-class passengers can enjoy multi-course meals served on Royal Doulton porcelain with Robert Welch cutlery. Cold food generally must be consumed within 48 hours of preparation. Most meals are prepared about 8 to 10 hours before the flight and delivered to the aircraft at a temperature below 10 degrees Celsius. Leaving the cold kitchen, the production line continues into the hot kitchen, the heart of Emirates flight catering. This is where thousands of chefs prepare the main dishes served on flights departing from Dubai. Because Emirates connects Dubai with many regions around the world, a single menu cannot satisfy every passenger. For this reason, the hot kitchen is organized into 4 main culinary sections: Asian, Indian subcontinent, European, and Middle Eastern. Within each section, chefs who specialize in local cuisine are responsible for keeping the flavors, seasonings, and cooking methods as close to the traditional versions as possible. As a result, about 1,400 chefs in Dubai and at catering partners around the world help produce 215,000 meals every day, equal to 149 meals per minute. They work with about 2,200 different recipes every month to serve the airline's flight network. The menu is adjusted according to the region and each destination. On some routes to Europe, breakfast may include croissants, bread, eggs, and cheese. Flights to India may serve curry, biryani, kachori, or vegetarian dishes made with spices characteristic of the Indian subcontinent. For flights to Japan, the kitchen may prepare soba noodles, fish, rice, or bento boxes. These dishes require not only the correct ingredients, but also the proper cutting techniques, presentation, and flavors familiar to Japanese passengers. For passengers returning home, familiar dishes create the feeling that they have already begun their journey home the moment they step onto the aircraft. For international travelers, it may be the first time they experience the flavors of their destination. According to Emirates, in a single year, its catering network may use about 6 million kilos of chicken, 350,000 kilograms of beef, 266,000 kilograms of Atlantic salmon, and 2.2 million kilograms of potatoes. After the food is cooked and portioned, it is quickly moved out of the hot kitchen and into the controlled cooling stage. The reason lies within a temperature range that is especially dangerous for food. Food poisoning bacteria can grow rapidly at temperatures between about 4 and 60 degrees Celsius. While the main dishes are moved to the cooling stage, another production line continues operating in the bakery and dessert section. Here, the chefs produce cakes, cookies, chocolate, bread, pastries, and many traditional Middle Eastern desserts. The process begins with large industrial mixing machines. Flour, eggs, milk, butter, sugar, and chocolate are weighed according to the recipe and mixed into batches. The mixture is then poured into molds, filled, or shaped before entering the industrial baking ovens. According to Emirates, Its catering network uses about 3.1 million kilograms of bread and pastries in a single year. One of the most remarkable pieces of equipment here is the high-pressure water jet cutting machine. Instead of using a metal blade pressed down onto the surface of the cake, the machine uses a very thin stream of water under high pressure that works like a cutting blade. As a result, large cakes can be divided into hundreds of pieces that are almost identical. Once the meal trays are fully assembled, each meal is linked to information about its production time, expiration time, menu type, and the flight on which it will be served. This is an especially important layer of control for special meals. A vegetarian meal cannot be placed in the position intended for a regular meal. Meals for passengers with diabetes, low-sodium meals, or meals prepared to meet religious requirements must also be kept separate and clearly identified. If a batch of ingredients or a batch of food is found to have a problem, the system must allow staff to quickly identify the affected meals. Instead of inspecting hundreds of thousands of meals throughout the facility, they can narrow the search by production time, menu, production line, and flight. Once the inspection process is complete, the meal trays are loaded into carts in the correct serving order for the aircraft. The cart doors are closed, sealed, and transported to the ground floor by the monorail system. The carts are then loaded onto specialized catering trucks. This allows staff to roll the meal carts directly from the truck into the aircraft galley. Not every meal loaded onto an aircraft is consumed. Some passengers choose not to eat. The actual number of passengers may change, or certain meals may not suit their preferences. At the same time, the airline must prepare extra meals to avoid running out of food. For safety reasons, food returned from an aircraft cannot be served on another flight. It is sorted together with organic waste, packaging, and recyclable materials. To reduce waste, Emirates Flight Catering uses cameras, smart scales, and artificial intelligence to identify the types of food left behind, measure their weight, and determine which flight routes are being loaded with too much food. This data helps the company adjust portion sizes, ingredient purchasing plans, and meal quantities, with the goal of reducing food waste in Dubai by 35%. In February 2026, the company also put into operation a system that uses oxygen, heat, and microorganisms to break down organic waste at the facility. This process produces gray water that can be reused and is expected to reduce about 2,000 tons of CO2 emissions each year.